Hello students, today's video we will be talking about cell, how was cell discovered, and what is cell theory, the basic structure of cell, I mean the cell organelles. So let us begin with cell. Before we go further, we will be talking about discovery of shell. It is said that in 1665 it was Robert Hooke. He took a thin slice of cork and he tried to observe it under his self-designed microscope, and he finds honeycomb-like structure. And so these little rooms which he saw under the microscope, he used the term for this cell. So cell means little room. So we can say that Robert Hooke discovered cell, and even he coined the term cell. When this cell was discovered, much was not known at that time because detailed view of the cell was not seen, because microscopes were not that efficient at that time. Later on, we find that around 150 years later, microscopes were invented with better efficiency and better power, and they could study in detail. So we will be talking now that around 1838 it was Jacob Matthias Claden. He was German botanist, and he observed and concluded that all the plants are made up of cells. Similarly, a year later, it was Theodor Schwann. He was a German zoologist. He finds that animals are also made up of cells. So this is how they gave cell theory. So we will be talking about now cell theory and its development. First, that we have to understand, in 1838 it was Jacob Matthias Claden, and he was a German botanist. Botanists are the people who study about plants. So he proposed that all plants are made up of cells. Similar observation we can find that in 1839 it was Theodor Schwann. And he was a German zoologist. So he also found similar observation, and he proposed that all animals are made up of cells. So the older concept about cell was given by these two scientists. Later on, it was 1855. It was 1855, and he was also a German biologist. Rudolf Virchow. He proposed that very important statement: all new cells arise from pre-existing cells. This is one of the important lines that even today it is relevant. So far it has not been disproved that from non-living material some living cells are born. It is true that if a new cell has to come up, then some pre-existing cell has to exist. From there new cells come up. Basic things you must be knowing nowadays, that new cells, first the parent cell is there, it has to undergo division. Before it divides, there is DNA replication, and once the DNA has replicated or it has been copied, the nucleus divides, followed by cytoplasmic division, leading to the division of parent cell and forming two daughter cells that we find. So these 3 points: all the plants are made up of cells, all the animals are made up of cells, and the new cells arise from pre-existing cells. These 3 statements make up cell theory, and it is called modern cell theory. So now we are in a position to define that cell, what it is. Cell is the structural and functional unit of all living organisms. So let me write the definition here. Cell, it is the structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Let me make it clear to you the two important terms that has been used here. First one is structural unit. Why a cell is called a structural unit? Any cell you take, whether it may be unicellular or a multicellular, it has all basic structures to maintain life. Means a cell has all the basic cell organelles that is very necessary to make it living. Even you take multicellular organisms, cells divide, they differentiate, they give rise to different tissues, organ systems, making it a complete being such that it is useful to survive in nature. Another aspect, why it is called functional unit. Why it is called functional unit? Functional unit means even a single cell organism, single-celled organism performs basic functions needed to live. Means to survive, a single cell also performs basic functions like nutrition, respiration, reproduction, sensitivity, movement. Means basic metabolic activities that a cell has to carry out. It is being carried out, and hence we can say a cell is the functional unit of all living organisms. So here we are discussing the basic things. Now cell theory we have completed. We have understood what is cell, why it is called structural and basic functional unit of life, that also you have understood. So we are trying to understand the questions that are raised regarding a cell or what a cell is. Now let us study about structure of a cell. Here we will not be talking about cell number, cell shape, because the cell shape and number depends upon organism to organism. We will be talking about basically the basic structure of cell, the cell organelles. Let us study about structure of a cell. A generalized cell has three basic structures. This is cell membrane, this is cytoplasm, and we have nucleus. So these are the three basic parts of a cell. In detail, when we talk about a cell, we find that a cell may have different structures, but based on basic idea, a cell can be of two types. A cell can be prokaryotic. A cell can be eukaryotic. Here you have to understand the meaning of this word. Pro means primitive, and karyon means nucleus. So basically a prokaryotic cell will have a well defined it will lacks well defined nucleus. It lacks membrane bound cell organelles. Eukaryotic. Eu means true and karyon means nucleus. So we can say here true nucleus is there, so possesses well defined nucleus with nucleolus. And without nucleolus. And it has membrane bound cell organelles. We will be talking about what are cell organelles. These are the parts, just like you can say that organisms, we have hands, we have legs, we have ears, we have eyes, like that, to perform different functions. Similarly, the cells do have different organ-like structures. They are living structures having specific functions. Here you may find single chromosomes, or we call circular chromosomes. They may have a fixed number of chromosomes that is very specific to a particular species, and they have 70 S ribosomes. Ribosomes are involved in protein synthesis, and eukaryotic, they have 80 S ribosomes. So these are the basic differences that we can have. So prokaryotes, like we have bacteria. Eukaryotes, they have well defined nucleus. So we may say that like higher organisms, like let us say plant cells, we have well defined nucleus. Means you can say protists and higher organisms, higher kingdoms, protists and higher kingdoms. Basically we have monerans. This kingdom you will be studying in higher classes or in later periods, that what are the 5 kingdom system of classifications. We find first kingdom, that is Monera. It is generally the organisms are unicellular and prokaryotes. and thereafter you find protista and others. They are of eukaryotic cells, they are made up of. So we have here discussed up to here about cell theory and basic parts of cell, and in the coming classes we will be talking about the cell organelles, cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. So I hope you have got it from this class that what is cell and our cell theory and basic parts of cell basically, and also at the last we discussed about differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, having generalized examples. Thank you.